Hi, Scott from One Man Band. I reached out to a bunch of face mask companies to do some reviews on face masks for you. So this is a face mask review for educators, but really anybody that might have to wear a mask for an extended period of time. Before we get into this, I want to tell you or give you a quote from the CDC director, Dr. Robert Redfield. He said that we are not defenseless against COVID-19. Cloth face coverings are one of the most powerful weapons we have to slow and stop the spread of the virus, particularly when used universally within a community setting. All Americans have a responsibility to protect themselves, their family, and their communities. So let's be thinking about that as we think about masks and how we're going to use them. They're a weapon of defense against this virus. So my process with these masks is I wore each one for an hour straight without taking it off. And then I also wore them for an extended period of time, 2 to 4 hours, where I was taking it off and on. I wore it in situations where I had to communicate with people. And I had my wife try each one of these masks because we're so different in size. I'm a pretty big person. She's pretty tiny. And to see how these masks that are one size fits all, because they all are, to see how they fit her. When looking at each of these masks individually, I decided to review it on the 4 abilities that I created, and that's comfortability. 1 out of 4, 4 being the highest how comfortable it is for the extended period of time. So that's comfortability. Breathability is how hard am I having to work to breathe in this thing. 1 being I have to work really hard, 4 being that it's pretty easy to breathe in. Foggability is when I exhale, do my glasses fog up? 1 being, yeah, they fog up a heck of a lot, and 4 being no problems. And then usability is how did I feel like I was able to communicate wearing this mask? So this first mask I have is a homemade mask from a friend of mine. It's really 2 pieces of fabric. I'm sure she just had laying around, and some elastic that goes around for ear loops. You probably have seen the masks like this around. A lot of people are wearing these homemade ones. And the CDC even gives that a big thumbs up for the record. The cloth face covering is the big thing there. I gave the comfortability a 2. It's not noticeable right away, but when I put the mask on, these little elastic bands, after like an hour of use, they started hurting my ears. Now, my wife gave it a 3, because it's a little bit, or I gave it a 3 for my wife because it was a little bit bigger, so she wasn't going to have the same kind of wear on her for her. Breathability is a 3. It really breathed pretty easily. Got a little warm, but not too bad. Foggability a 2. I couldn't seem to get this in a good place and not fog up my glasses. And usability, I gave it a 4 because I did feel like, even though my voice gets a little bit muffled, it's not too bad, and communicating with people was pretty easy with this mask. So that's the homemade mask. And then I got a mask. It's a cotton mask from a company called Tilit. It comes in a lot of different colors, or a few different colors. It's got a pocket for added filtration if you're someone that wants to add something like a carbon filter. Adjustable head straps, so not the ear straps, the ones that go around the head. We'll show that in a little bit. It's a one size fits all. Buy one, $18 each. Buy 25, they come at $13 each, and buy 50, they're $11 each. So, comfortability and fit, I give this one a 4. It really fits nicely. I find it very comfortable. It was a little bit, it's a one size fits all. It was too big for my wife. It really was baggy on her, and therefore probably not doing a great amount of work. Breathability, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to put this one on because breathability, I gave it a 2. And it's because I think that the meshing on the outside is a little tighter, or maybe it's the inside stuff. I guess I don't know. But you'll see that it's like I have to work to breathe in this thing. And as an asthma sufferer, I do notice it. It doesn't engage my asthma, but it might somebody else. Tied into that is the foggability. Although I did find on most of these masks, if I put them up just a little bit higher up the bridge of my nose and put my glasses down just a little bit lower, that seemed to prevent me from getting foggy glasses. So I ended up giving this one a 3 on foggability once I found that sweet spot. But you could probably tell now, tied into the breathability is the usability. This really muffles my voice when I speak. I feel like I have to raise my voice. I can even feel extra strain on my voice having this conversation. So I give it a 2 for usability. Now, having said that, there's something about this mask. I think it's how comfortable it is and how good I feel like it covers my face, that this is going to be my mask in my car for like grocery getting and stuff when I don't have to do a lot of communication with people. So that is the Tilit. And then Headline is a company that makes t-shirts, and so I'm sure that's where they get their fabric. So the Headline face mask, it's poly cotton face mask blend. So the outside's all cotton and the inside's some kind of layered, I don't know, however materials work, where it's poly and cotton. It says it's got total 4 layers of protection. It does have a spot for to put a filter in. It comes in a pack of 3 for $25. It's kind of nice because you can either use these as head straps or tie them in a different way and use them as ear loops. So $25 for a pack of 3 from Headline. This mask can be, I set it up to use as head straps instead of ear loops because I just don't like the ear loops, especially with my glasses. So I use the head strap version. I'm just going to say right off the bat, this is my favorite mask. I'm going to be ordering plenty more of these Headline masks. Super comfortable. It's soft. It's actually a really big mask even for me. And there's something about the way they made this that seems to really be one size fits all. My 7-year-old actually ended up wearing one of these masks when we forgot his mask when we were out and about. And so my wife and my son, it really fit them really well. I gave it a 4 for breathability. I don't feel like I'm having to work extra hard. And foggability, I gave it a 3 because depending on where I set my glasses, they fogged up. So I have these pre-tied to my size, and I don't know what kind of knot it's called, but I just did like the 2-string loop around knot. And then it's holding in place even through getting washed. So like I said, I really like this mask. I feel like it's really comfortable. Once I shave my beard, it'll probably even fit better. I feel like it looks nice, which is important. Because we're going to be wearing these in professional settings. So I want something that looks professional and nice. I might even try to get our school store to put some kind of logoing on the mask for me because that's just kind of fun. So I said I gave it a foggability rating of 3. And that just has to do with, again, playing with where you've got the glasses on your nose and the mask on your nose. And you can usually get a sweet spot. Usability, I would put this at a 4. This is going to be my mask that I use regularly. So that's the Headline mask. Naturepedic is a company that does, like beds. That's what they do. And they're actually doing these masks at cost. So that's pretty cool. Great company showing what they can do to help people out. They're adjustable elastic ear loops, which is nice because a lot of the ear loops aren't adjustable and you just stretch this thing to however you need it or however it fits your face. Now you can get this thing to just fit your face by adjusting it. So it's cotton. It's $50 for a pack of 6 on that. Comfortability, I gave it a 3. It has to do with these I just don't like ear loops. And so maybe you're a little different than me, but really thinking about having something on my ear all day long at school, I just don't like it. There might be a way to, rig this one up so that it doesn't have that issue. It doesn't fit my wife very well either as a smaller person, just a lot of mask that wasn't being cinched tighter to her face. The breathability is high on this one. But also the foggability. I really had a hard time getting to a sweet spot. I feel like the mask, if it was a little bit bigger, would actually help because I could do that thing where I get the fabric under or up above the bridge of my nose and put the glasses down. But then it's pretty much at my lips right here and it's not doing what it should do as a mask. So when I have it pulled down to the right spot for my chin, then the foggability, my glasses get really foggy. And so I give it a 2 for foggability. Usability, I gave it a 2.5. And I had a hard time with this because this is a mask I will probably use a little bit. Again, it might live in like a backpack so that I'm a forgetful person. So the day I forget my mask, I've got my backup. So I didn't want to give it like just a 2, but day to day, I just don't think I'm going to be using the Naturepedic one much. So there you go, the Naturepedic mask. And then we got Custom Ink that's got this stretchy, it's a spandex cotton blend. It's a one-piece thing with holes for the ears. You just put over your face, so it fits pretty comfortably. Pack of 12 for $20. At first, I liked this one when I put it on, and I would have given it a much higher rating, but I'm going to tell you why I didn't in a second here. So comfortability, I gave it a 2. And it's going to come into play a few times here. At first, it seemed to be great because it's just one piece. It was easy to put on and adjust. Okay. The second I start talking, because it's pulled tight to my face, it starts bunching up. The mask ends up going into my mouth when I'm talking. I have to do a lot of adjusting while I'm talking. So now I'm touching the mask like crazy. And again, that's the CDC, like their recommendations say, don't touch the mask. I love the idea of this mask. It just did not. And I hate to give a bad review to somebody that gave me a product, but I want to be honest. So the comfortability and the fit is a 2 on this one. And that's maybe even being gracious. For my wife's fit, I gave it a 1. Just did not work for her either. Breathability is pretty high. Foggability, I gave it a 3 because it does seem to keep my glasses from fogging. Usability, I gave it a 1. And it's tied into that fit reason. Every time I'm talking, my muscles are moving this mask around. And as I talk more and more, the mask starts going in my mouth. And it's really, so I hate to do this, but I got to tell you, this Custom Ink face mask, don't get it. It's just not worth it. So sorry, Custom Ink. And then we have the Basecamp. It's actually a dust mask is how it's marketed. Because it's a dust mask, it's got carbon filters on the inside. It's got a form-fit nose piece. It's a mesh, like a wide mesh on the outside and a very thin mesh on the inside with some other layers in between. I think now would be a good time to point out that it's a valve mask, and those are not necessarily the best thing for the community. The valve mask can be really good for you because it's filtering what you're breathing in. And because it's valves as an asthmatic, it's really easy to exhale, so my muscles aren't having to work as hard to do it. But the exhale has zero filtration, as far as I know and can tell. That the air I expel and all of the terrible things that could be in it are going out unfiltered. So that's one of the problems with the valve masks. Even want to read this from an article I read, that while valve masks outwardly appear like a technological step up from a homemade cloth or standard surgical mask, an old-fashioned cloth or surgical mask is actually superior for the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't want to tear on this company because it's a very nice mask, but you need to consider that if you're wearing any kind of a valve mask. So they sell the Basecamp M Plus face cover on Amazon for $30. I'll have links to all these down below. I forgot to mention that earlier. So if you want to look more into these or order them, then go to the link below. Now, I was really excited about this mask at first. One of the biggest reasons why is because when I put it on, got to put it on right. My wife said that I look like I belong in a Marvel movie. And I was like, this is going to be my mask. This is my moment to be a Marvel superhero. And it is pretty comfortable. You can actually even add in, like an additional strap to go over your head to like hold it up, because it does slide a little bit. But there's a lot of issues with this mask that I've talked about already. So let's go through the review. Comfortability and fit, I give it a 4. I give it a 10 for badass looking, but that's not one of the ability categories. Didn't fit my wife great. It's a little bit too big for her. Breathability is really high on this one. I mean, it's like off the charts because of these valves. And I'll cover that again here in a moment. And fogability, because of this nose piece, is also really good. So I gave it a 4. And I suppose that's an unfoggability. Usability, I'm going to have to say a 1. The idea that these valves are not filtering my air, and if I'm asymptomatic, I could be spreading aerosols around. I'm just not comfortable with that. I will say, as a dust mask, I am going to buy an extra one of these and keep this in my shop. This is my favorite dust mask as an asthmatic that I've ever had in my hands. The extra carbon filter and everything. So I'm adding this to my tool bench. I'm just not going to add it to my school usability. So I give it a 1 for usability. So the last thing I'll say here, or the last things I'll say, is be considerate of your face mask, and during use that you're not touching the face mask. You're adjusting things as much as you can by the ear loops or the head strap. I've read that it's good to store these in plastic Ziploc bags when not in use. So when you go to your office and you're going to have your mask off for a little bit, have a Ziploc bag so you can put it in there. As a beard wearer, I am going to be thinking about shaving this thing down, because the articles I've read out there, they say things that, we as beard wearers, we're not really at any more of a risk, according to any kind of research that might be out there. But at the same time, if we don't maintain and clean this regularly, that it is a breeding ground for germs. So I think in order to be safe and to get a good seal, I'm going to shave my beard. I'm going to have some fun with it, though. So I found CDC recommendations for the kind of beards you can have under respirators. And I might even let my students pick my beard for the upcoming year, or my mustache. So I'll share that with you as well if you're interested, beard wearers out there. All these masks are linked in the description below. I wish you all the best of luck, that you can stay healthy, stay safe, create great music with your students this year. And here's the look into days when we don't have to worry about face masks and band shields and bell covers and everything else. All right? So long.